Washington Post recently reported that women are getting off of birth control as misinformation about the pill floods social media.
Dr. Natalie Gentili from Direct Care Physicians of Pittsburgh joins us this Wellness Wednesday to talk about the harm some misleading videos could be causing. And this is so timely because I've been on social media and I've been seeing an influx of women talking about that they're young women in particular talking about that they're ditching the birth control pill completely.
There is so much misinformation spreading about birth control, but I think it's extra challenging to weed through that and see some truths that are out there as well about concerns people have about birth control.
Well, and let's start at the very basic of this. Birth control is a wonderful form of women's health care. You know, this is our way to be able to control when we want to have a baby. Yeah. So we understand the nature and the importance of having birth control, but we also know as women who I was on birth control at a very young age. Yeah. I think many of us were to either help with controlling our periods, problems that we may have had with it or otherwise. And there are some side effects that can cause some issues for some women.
Certainly. People at baseline just may not tolerate the hormones. That just may not feel good in their bodies. Other people find that they have decreases in libido when they're on birth control, or they find that it really affects their mood in a way they didn't expect it would. So it's, again, just like with any medication, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. Right. So those are very real things that are happening. Okay. Yeah, because I've experienced some of those things for sure.
Several of those things. Yeah.
So where is all of this coming from in social media? Is it coming from like individual experiences or just influencers who are persuading people?
I think there's always a place to make money around these types of topics, you know, and influencers are seeing that. There's a way to demonize pharmaceuticals and say, you know, everybody's out to just make money. They're prescribing you pills. They don't care about your valid feelings. And frankly, a lot of times that is the case in a clinic setting. People don't feel validated or like they're being heard.
Well, and that I think goes back to where you might hear something on social media and it validates how you've been feeling, maybe because your own doctor isn't listening to you. You know, with some birth controls, we know that some can put on excess weight and some very quickly because of it, or maybe experience some other things. And I've had this happen to me where the doctor goes, okay, well, we'll just try this next one. And then that one doesn't work. And then you try this next, and you feel like it's ongoing experiment on your own body for years.
That's out of your control. And I put this up on social this morning and someone already commented, I would get a different prescription every month because insurance would decide, oh, you know what, this one we're not covering this month. You can have this other one.
And we were having this. I'm like, that's why it seems like there are so many different variations of birth control pills because you're trying to manage the side effects from one to the next.
Yes, or again, coverage of it or availability of it, which it is an experiment on your body without you knowing.
So you've had this conversation with so many of your own patients that come through. How do you guide them through what's best for them in a case like this? Maybe they have had some side effects that don't really, something that they're not comfortable with.
Sure. There are so many other forms of birth control or family planning that you can have a discussion about. So it's not just the pill. There are IUDs, which we've talked about, which could be a whole other episode on its own, right? There is natural family planning, or you know, tracking your cycle and understanding, you know, basal temperatures.
Which you're doing anyways. It is so helpful as a woman to know some of these things.
I ask my patients all the time, can you please just track your cycles, even if you don't feel safe doing it on an app? Like, can you have it written down in a calendar somewhere, just so we know it? Your cycle is a huge indicator of your health. And can tell us so much.
Yeah, and I do think, though, I think that's a great thing to do, but some women just aren't good at it. Do you find that just not keeping track?
It's really challenging, and then if you're doing that as your form of birth control, there is a big risk of getting pregnant.
Yeah, so back to the influencers, is this what they're recommending instead of being on the birth control pill, natural family planning? Or
a lot of them are recommending
that. These people are not doctors, though.
No, they're not.
Well, and that goes back to your point is it's important to have, and we always talk about this, and what you focus on in your own clinic is having a good, positive relationship with your doctor so you can talk about these things.
When there's so much distrust in the healthcare system, of course you're going to go to what seems familiar. And that's somebody you can pick up your phone and look like they're talking directly to you. And that resonates with you. That's so much more comforting to a person than a 7-minute in and out visit with a person that you might not even know in an office setting.
So what should you do? If you're on birth control, you're having issues, or you're thinking about getting on birth control, Is it just a matter of having a trusted conversation with your doctor?
There has to be a trusted conversation. You should go into all of the options for contraception eyes wide open, knowing that there are side effects and risks and benefits to everything we are going to do, whether it is taking a medication or not. Right? And so having that conversation very openly and understanding all of your medical history, because that has to be taken into account as well when prescribing hormonal medications, that is where I think the magic can happen and people can feel more empowered in these conversations about contraception.
All about having a good relationship with your doctor.
Yes.
Starts
Absolutely.
there. Yeah, 100%.
Good topic. Thank you so much,
What
Natalie.
a good conversation.
Yeah. All right, if you're interested in learning more about Direct Care Physicians of Pittsburgh, we will have a link on our website.
And we're now checking